Hi, my name's Shanshan. I do art on shanshan.co. Today we're going to review Longlegs. This is a film by Perkins. He's a writer-director. Time is 1 hour and 41 minutes. So the story starts off FBI agent Lee Harker. She's brand new to the agency. They're investigating a series of family murders. There's no clues left behind except these terrible letters that are written in code, kind of similar to Zodiac. It's kind of like a Zodiac combined with Silence of the Lambs a little bit, but it's its own unique story. The agent, she starts to crack the case really well, and then her boss is like, how come you're cracking this case so easily? It's much harder. No one else has had a lead until you came along, so she has this very unique connection to the case. And then they finally catch the murder, of course, but then there's more to the story. The perfect timing, around 1 hour and 30 minutes. It was 1 hour and 41 minutes. Good pacing, quick story. Not too much, but also enough slow scenes to make it, pace really well. I think also having a smaller cast really works well. You really don't need that much of a cast to tell a great story. You got the classic eerie color grading that they use in horror films, low rumblings in the film to build suspense. One of the cool things is they use music as kind of the jump scare in this thing, where you have music just ramp up like crazy and then drop, and you're like, what the fuck was that? So that's kind of fun. Unusual way to do jump scares. They have this very unusual kind of TV setting where it's cropped in like this, and then they slowly expand it when they start to film. And so that gives it a really cool film, and then they end the film the same way. So it has that really unique beginning and end as far as starting the story like that. And you're like, what does that mean? What's the symbolism behind using a TV versus that? And it's kind of memory versus, coming full circle. Obviously at the end, like any good film, comes full circle. Very cool cast, I would say. A lot of the characters seem very bizarre. The boss seems pretty normal, but then, the woman that plays Detective Lee Harker, she's very strange. Her first initial partner seems a little strange as well. The serial killer is obviously bizarre, which he should be. And then her mom is very strange too. So they have all these really weird characters in there. So that kind of adds a lot of tension to the film. There's this bizarre post of Bill Clinton above everyone's head of the FBI, which I think is normal that they always put the president at the FBI, which obviously frames it into the 90s, what the time frame is. But it gives this kind of weird worship thing in the film, kind of like worship Bill Clinton, worship Bill Clinton. The Clintons will save us, kind of thing to the film. I don't know if they're intending that, but it kind of has that feel to it. It's set in the 90s, pre-cell phone. A lot of horror films nowadays seem to lean on that genre of any film, up till 1999, they can kind of shoot with no cell phones and it looks cool. I think it gives it a really big scare to the new youth. They're attached to their cell phone at their hip and they've never grown up without the cell phone. So for them, it's pretty scary that you would go along with no cell phone, no way to call people. And I guess that's scary nowadays. It doesn't seem scary to me. I can have it for no day and it's like no problem. But a lot of horror films kind of lean on that. Sometimes too much, I think. But it works, I think. Some of the cast seem a little bit DEI hires if you compare this to kind of this pulls a little bit from the Silence of the Lamb feel to it. In the Silence of the Lamb, you didn't feel like any of the characters stood out like they were PC hired. But in this case, it does feel like they hired, more minorities than they needed to for this cast. And you're like, is the FBI that many minorities in it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it just felt a little bit trying to sell to a broader audience, which is fine. It is what it is. You got to sell tickets at the end of the day. I like that they had kind of elements of Silence of the Lamb, which kind of pulled me into the film, but then it was very distinct from Silence of the Lambs, so that was good. So it has its own style of film, but it does definitely pulls from a little bit of different genres of other films like Silence of the Lambs. It has a writer-director, which, I always prefer that versus when they separate the director and the writer, it always seems kind of flimsy. Like you could see that. With The Shining, it was excellent. They separated Stephen King from the director Kubrick, but a lot of times that kind of doesn't work, but it always works well when the writer-director is also the director. It just, I don't know, somehow the story gels better and it comes together much faster, I think, and much just more dense. Nicolas Cage is really great here as the serial killer. You don't even recognize him. You only know because of the credits. So if they had never shown the credits in the beginning, you wouldn't even know who Nicolas Cage was in this. So really hats off to him, and the costume director really changed his face so he was completely unrecognizable. So it was a really fun film. I would say so far, I would say one of my best of 2024, but I hadn't reviewed everything in 24. If you guys would like, you can subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next movie review. Thanks, guys.